Thank you very much, Altin. I'm sure the questions will follow as we agreed after all presentations. And now I would like to welcome Georgi Apostolov from Bulgaria, who is responsible for a Safer Internet program run by the Applied Research and Communication Fund in Sofia. Georgi is also a journalist with almost 20 years of experience, and till 2006 he was responsible for running a hotline. And your presentation will focus on the prevention of real and virtual violence.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'll try to be very brief. Though I'm very proud of this project, I'm going to present a project for schools, educational project. We have started from September last year in Bulgaria, together with the Parents Association in our country. We are awareness node from very soon, not long time ago. But we have been maintaining the Bulgarian hotline for 3 years, and it proved that it's impossible to have a hotline without awareness events. So we tried and made efforts for different awareness campaigns, publishing materials, and so on. So what is the problem that made us design this project? I'll just read. I think everybody knows what is written here on this slide. Internet is part of the real world of our children, not for us, for me. Part of the auditorium is on the other side. Everyday use for Bulgarian children goes from 3 to 6 hours. 3 hours is the average for a normal day, school day. During vacations or on weekends, it tends to go to 6 hours a day. Several sociological studies, surveys, showed that the first place among activities of young people in Internet is already to communications and socialization. It used to be several years ago gaming. Now it's communicating. It's good and it's bad. It's good because children communicate in quite a very larger environment that my generation did. They have the possibility to visit virtually all parts of the world, to make friends all around the world, and practically in social life it proved to be true because now children's community do not form on geographical or school basis. Now you have communities formed from different parts of the cities, from different schools, based on common interests. And these common interests were found through Internet. We made a study, and it proved that online and offline communication of teenagers especially go in continuum. What they do while sitting in front of the computer, they continue the same talk or continue the same things when they meet physically in physical life. It is proved by several facts. I think it is not only for Bulgaria, but in the language of young people have entered several words from computer technologies. They use a special slang. For example, they shut down somebody, or they say, let's start this, and I'm bugged, or somebody got bugged, so on. Social networking sites and messenger programs are most used. Of course, they're used for good purposes, but I'm coming from another session that proved that social networking sites are the biggest problem. 50% of reports about child grooming are coming from social networking sites. But we are focusing on another problem, the growing e-violence and bullying, cyberbullying. Sorry for that. A study we have done in 2007 and part of 2008 showed several patterns that appeared in last years for growing e-violence. The problem is that children like very much socializing through network sites. They are putting there not only their personal data, they try to be cool. They try to attract other children and to show off themselves. So when they don't know how to show off, except talking about music, say automobile tuning or some other hobbies, the first thing that comes to mind is to put some very cool video clip, and usually it is violence-related clip, unfortunately. Some of the clips are produced by victimizing their teachers. You know the problem. We had a very strange case in one school in the last month when a group of children have beaten up their teacher at school, and it was not the hated teacher. They hated other teachers, but just the group dynamics led them in this moment. They needed somebody to beat, and this teacher was around. They beat up the young woman, then put the video clip in internet. They stage beatings among themselves. Several cases when a group of children gather, stage some beating, other children are videotaping the beating just to produce a video clip. Some of them are producing illegal sexual content at home or at school. There was a case, just a kind of protest. A teenage girl made a striptease in front of the door of the school principal. Another case, a girl pretended to make oral sex with two boys at this classroom, and so on and so on. The new possibilities of ICTs are used also for extortion, blackmailing between children. A case, I'll quote a site again. A girl made a photo of her classmate while in the toilet room, and then asked for money not to publish the photo, not to post the photo in internet. So a new pattern is arriving here, and the pattern is proven by several cases in one of Bulgarian towns. A gang of girls, we don't know one or two, but it just came for like several reports to our hotline. Gang of girls is hacking profiles of other girls on social networking sites. First, they are perpetrating identity theft. They are changing the password and posting some disturbing material there. Then they are collecting all the necessary details just to track, to follow the real person on the street. They beat the other girl, videotape this and put it in internet. So the circle is closed. They go from internet and they finish in internet, but through physical violence. So when we thought about, we saw that the problem is not adequately answered, not adequately focused on. We have campaigns, we have projects addressing violence at school, violence at family violence, violence on the street. On the other hand, we have projects and campaigns against cyberbullying. We don't have a project that will combine both phenomena as they are combined in the psychology of young people. So here the project idea came. It's called Children in Virtual and Real Violence, Prevention by Discourse and Education. The project is co-financed by the Swiss Oak Foundation and implemented, as I mentioned already, jointly with the Parents Association. Main aims of the project are to correlate virtual and real violence. The course consists of lessons based on interactive games and discussions and brainstormings. One of the aims is recognition, to make children recognize the various forms of violence, physical and virtual one. to try to provoke in them empathy and compassion to the other, and to try to teach them reaction in cases of violence and ways of prevention. 24 lessons were developed for 2 age groups, 11-15 and 16-18 years. The lessons were designed by pedagogues, psychologists and IT experts. We have piloted the lessons in the period April-July in 3 schools in Sofia. The schools were selected to be different: one elite school, one so-called middle-level school, and one school in an underprivileged community. So lessons were tested in 39 classes, 19 classes of the first age group and 20 of the second age, with a total of between 750 and 800 pupils. From next month, the full course will go in 10 schools that volunteer to take part in the project. The idea is not only to pilot this course and to finish there. It is the idea is to make it usable for all teachers around the country. So we developed an online platform, which is hosted on the Microsoft operated so-called Innovative Teachers Portal website, teacher.bg. I'll show you. Here come the topics, just to get to give you an idea what the course is about. The main idea is that each topic is addressed both for physical and for virtual world, because all forms of violence have their physical and their virtual versions. So I'll go afterward about that. Some of the lessons were not very easy to develop, especially concerning sexual exploitation, sexual abuse. We should be very careful. Here psychologists came to help us how to develop such a lesson for, especially for the lower age group. But at the end, the guidebook we developed for the teachers was presented to the Institute of Psychology of the Academy of Science, and they approved. But the testing period was just to test the things, and it proved that some of the lessons should again be re-edited and adapted to, first, how the children react, second, because of the time of the lessons, some of them were too long, and so on. So this is the online platform. The directors, the principals of all schools volunteering for the project, and subsequently we hope all schools in the country that are willing to introduce this course, the principals can put an online request for a replacing teacher when they don't have a replacement for a teacher who got ill, who is absent. So he chooses the school, the date, and the lesson with the time, put it online. The registered trained teachers receive by SMSs and emails the request. So the first teacher who takes a request, he goes to the school to give the lesson. All the guidebook and all additional materials are online, so the course is free for use for all teachers. What we have still to develop is a virtual training course, because teachers should undergo some training just to be able to present the course as we think, or not we, but our experts think they should. The testing period was very interesting. First, of course, as we expected, the virtual component of each lesson, of each topic, provoked interest, attracted interest of children toward such, violence is much spoken about. So if you go and talk with children about violence, they don't care. They're already, it's dull, everybody talks about, I'm not interested. When you input the component of internet and how internet is also violent, you attract their interests. Topics of sexual violence, and especially when talking about victimized children, provoke some passive resistance. Teachers should be very careful when presenting this lesson, because the usual first reaction of the children is it can't happen to me, or we suppose, our psychologists suppose, that if there are real victims of sexual abuse, there should be a very careful presentation of the materials. So we ask the principals of schools, when this lesson is presented, to have a psychologist. Usually schools in Bulgaria have a so-called psychology advisors, to be present there at place, to follow the reactions of children that could help just identify some possible victims of sexual abuse. Third point is absolutely clear that boys are more active and provocative than girls, but in general, children show very low sensitivity toward forms of e-violence. As a rule, they recognize physical violence, they recognize verbal violence, even emotional violence, but when it goes to virtual violent content, they don't recognize it as violence. Girls tend to be a little bit more sensitive. Pupils like in this course mostly the discussion forum, because discussion forums have not yet entered Bulgarian educational system. It's a problem. Of course, the age group 11-15 like more the interactive games included in each lesson. After each lesson we take feedback, written feedback from the children, what I take and what I throw out after that lesson. So in the feedback some surprisingly came that for the first time they understood what their classmates think about the problem, about violence, about internet, about things that they don't talk about. They communicate through internet, but they don't discuss the problem, especially the problem of violence. It's something very natural to them. And here comes the problem that should be addressed by such courses, I think, in many countries. When they look at a picture of rape of a minor, and they don't recognize that as violence, it's a problem. It's a problem when they visit sites of self-harming or suicidal sites. It is not violent. It is not violent when they see how somebody kills somebody from something. So, what we expect? First, we expect to very keenly to see the results of the course when it's ended. We are now preparing the first survey of the students at the schools. Will go full scale. An entry questionnaire is prepared, and then after finishing the course, the exit survey will give us some indicators to follow what we have achieved by this. We expect support from Ministry of Education. Until now we have it verbally, orally. We expect officially, and we will lobby to at least present this course to all principals of schools in the country as a recommendable material to use. What we expect, even without recommendation from the ministry, that more schools and teachers around the country will use the course because it's freely available on the net. And we expect that the online platform will be used by other organizations, institutions developing similar or different courses to put there, and then the schools will have more options and to work with the interactive education material, which is very much needed in our educational system. Thank you for your attention.